Hi, hope you're having a nice lunch. Uh, the topic for today's chat is about the Palinizing of Michele Bachmann. We'll talk about that, and every day at lunch, we send these videos out via email, and you can also check them on our site. By the way, on our site, dickmorris.com, you can go back and see any that you've missed, and you're allowed to watch them even if you're not eating lunch. But today I want to chat with you a little bit about what they're trying to do to Michele Bachmann. It is outrageous. The liberal, sexist mainstream media is just trying to destroy her and mock her in the same ridiculous, horrible way they went after Sarah Palin. It began on Tuesday morning when George Stephanopoulos, my old friend, had an interview with her and asked her questions he would never in a million years ask a male candidate. He, for example, had one of his negative research people, or more likely the White House's negative research people, dug up a quote where she said the Founding Fathers struggled tirelessly to end slavery. And he said, what support do you have for that? What justification do you have for that? That's not true. And she gave a very lucid answer about John Quincy Adams, who was, of course, just a teenager at the time, but in the rest of his congressional career throughout the early 19th century did lead the fight against slavery. But because Michele Bachmann is not running for historian but for president, she might have added that she was completely right in that characterization. It was the Founding Fathers that put a provision in the U.S. Constitution that said that the slave trade would be eliminated by 1809. No more importation of slaves. It was the Founding Fathers that passed the Northwest Ordinance that said that the new territories that the U.S. acquired prior to the Louisiana Purchase, which is essentially Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Michigan, Wisconsin, and parts of Minnesota, that no slavery would be allowed in those territories. And that really was the essential justification for the Republican Party in opposing the expansion of slavery that ultimately led to the Civil War. And Benjamin Franklin, who certainly qualifies as a founding father, devoted the last 5 to 7 years of his life to running an anti-slavery society in Philadelphia. And then Stephanopoulos came back and said, you said that the minimum wage causes unemployment. Where's the support for that? Well, there was an article in last year's Wall Street Journal that documented that every time the minimum wage goes up, so does teen unemployment. Now, that doesn't mean you want to eliminate the minimum wage. You're willing to pay a price in unemployment for that. But yeah, it's true that if we let people work for less, you'd have more jobs, obviously. So they're just going after her in every way they could. And the most ominous thing that really scared me was he said, are you worried about the loss of privacy for your 23 foster children that you and your husband brought into your home? Well, what that means is that the Democrats are going to interview every single one of them and dig up every story they can find in every instance that they were fighting or she spanked me or something, or even stuff that was after they left her house, that the guy was arrested for drugs 10 years later. They'll blame it on Michele. This is absolutely the Palinization of Michele Bachmann, and she doesn't deserve it. She's smart. I've spent hours talking to her. She's very well informed, understands all of this stuff intimately, understands the workings of Congress and the government in a way that, frankly, Sarah Palin never did, because she was not in Washington and she was not an attorney, especially not a tax attorney, as Michele Bachmann is. So this is disgusting to watch. And I just had to spend this lunch rebutting it, because I like Sarah Palin and I like Michele Bachmann, but Michele Bachmann is a very different order of magnitude of intellect and information than anybody we've had around before. Thanks for watching.